Hello everybody, my name is Viera-ramos, and today we're talking about extremism and the issues behind it. I may not sugarcoat a lot of things because we're dealing with a problem actually with both the far left and the far right. Let's begin. Extremism on both ends of the political spectrum, far right and far left. Ideological overview. Far-right extremism focuses on nationalism, racial, ethnic supremacy, strict social hierarchies, anti-immigration sentiment, and anti-globalist or anti-government ideas. Keep in mind, this is just the far right. With conservatives, not all of them are bad people. They're good people and the conservatives. Like, some are kind and loving and kind and heartwarming individuals. But anyways, I'm getting out of topic. While far left extremism is focused on radical egalitarianism, anti-capitalism, revolutionary, socialism, communism, anarchism, and opposition to institutions seen as oppressive, corporations, police, and governments. Oh, come on. The police is here to protect us. They're not oppressive. They just serve and protect. So, anyways, the shared pattern they both share are that both seek to radically reshape society according to their worldview, often rejecting democratic norms or compromise. But anyways, number 2. What are the common tactics they use? Extremists on both sides used remarkably similar strategies to recruit, control, and mobilize followers. Number 1, us versus them mentality. Simplifies society into good versus evil, when, as humans, we're all complex. There is no good or evil. Justifying hostility and violence. The far right, immigrants, minorities, or globalists as enemies, while the far left, they see corporations, the wealthy, or state institutions as oppressors. Let's see. With the fear tactics, they exploit real or exaggerated threats to motivate followers, meaning they use an "are you with us or against us" mentality, but also they use fearmonger. They fearmonger people into believing those things. Like, for examples, for the far right, they use fear of cultural or racial change, aka the Great Replacement Theory, which was bullshit, crime or government overreach, while the far left, they use tactics like fear of ecological collapse, economic exploitation, or authoritarianism. Because both sides are using fear on that. Propaganda and manipulation. They use dog whistle. They spread misinformation, conspiracy theories, and simplified narratives to control perception. As a neutral myself, I feel disgusted at this shit. While the far right, they use the Great Replacement theories, QAnon, anti-government conspiracies, while the far left uses the anti-government... Actually, no. The far right also uses radical anti-capitalist, while the far left use radical anti-capitalist narratives and demonizing moderate allies. Let's see. They also dehumanize their opponents. Opponents are portrayed as less than human or morally corrupt. Makes extreme measures and violence more justifiable. And then also recruitment via identity and belonging. offers purpose, camaraderie, and a sense of being part of something bigger. Let's see, don't forget that both sides use group isolation and echo chambers. They encourage insularity and discourages critical thinking, often amplified online. So, my friend, it's okay you have a political opinion, but you need to think twice to avoid fear-mongering. Number 3. Key psychological and social patterns. Exploitation of grievances, social, economic, or emotional. Radicalization often targets youth or marginalized or isolated individuals, meaning due to that ideology that both the far right and the far left have been influencing these isolated individuals, that influenced terrorism, shootings, and very much bad stuff. Let's see, don't forget that ideologies simplify complex societal issues and provide clear enemies. Yeah. And let's see, online communities accelerate radicalization and groupthink. Number 4, actually. Examples of extremist groups. The far right has white supremacist, the Neos, National Socialist Movement, or NCM, Atomwaffen Division, militia, paramilitary, Oath Keepers, or the Three Percenters, anti-government conspiracy, QAnon, sovereign citizen movements. Well, the far right isn't the only side with extremist groups. The far left also has some too. Militant anti-capitalist anarchists, certain Antifa cells, Earth Liberation Front, or ELF, which is kind of the real-life version of the Australian Liberation Front anyways, revolutionary, socialist, and communist, the Weather Underground, the Red Brigades, eco-radical extremists, environmental sabotage sales. But here's a note though. Most activists on either side are not extremists. Extremism is defined by anti-democratic, violent, or radical methods. Now, number 5. The top 10 reasons extremism is dangerous, both on the far right and the far left. The us versus them mentality, aka are you with us or against us, encourages demonization and hostility. Propensity for violence glorifies or condones violent action to achieve goals. Spread of misinformations undermines trust in media, institutions, and facts. Dehumanization of opponents justifies cruelty and oppression. And number 5, radicalization of vulnerable individuals. Exploit grievances to recruit followers. And don't forget, undermining democratic intuitions, rejects compromise, legal processes, and norms. Polarization of society, divides communities and fosters mistrust. Threat to public safety. Extremist acts endanger civilians and infrastructure. Suppression of dissent, enforces ideological conformity and punishes moderation. Long-term social instability, creates lasting societal, economic, and cultural damage. And now, the final, well, not really final, let's see, there are the key differences in tactics between extremes. Let's see. Targeted fear. The far right extremists, they target immigrants, minorities, government, and tyranny. While the far left extremists, they target corporations, wealthy elites, and state oppression. Let's see. Ideological framing. Nationalism, racial, and or ethnic purity. While the left, on the other hand, they use class struggle, anti-capitalism, and equality, which, instead of actually doing equality, it's dividing the U.S. And what about symbolism? The far right uses flags, historic emblems, and weapons. Meaning, yeah. And while the far left, on the other hand, they do use weapons too, but they also use red stars, anarchist symbols, and protest paraphernalia. While the approach to violence is the far right is defense of nation and race, while the far left is revolutionary necessity. But what about recruitment base? While the far right is conservative leaning and disaffected use, meaning isolated, which that could lead to attacks. But keep in mind, the far left isn't safe from that too. The far left do indoctrinate people into causing attacks too. Let's see. The far left, on the other hand, they use students, labor activists, and leftist-leaning youth. Similar thing to the far right. So, what are the consequences of extremism? This led to increased domestic terrorism risk, deep societal polarization and gridlock, weakening in trust in institutions, media, and science, threats to public safety and democratic governance, and long-term intergroup hatred and social instability. As a political neutral myself, this shit's going too far. But what about the summary? Here's the thing though. Both the far right and the far left extremism are extremely dangerous, not merely because of ideology, but because of shared psychological and social tactics, fear, manipulation, dehumanization, and violence. While their targets differ, the consequences, polarization, instability, and harm to society are strikingly similar. And you know what's doing that? Both the far left and the far right are dividing Americans and dividing the U.S. But we need unity, not equality. Unity, not divided. A quote from something: divided we fall, united we stand. But do you know what is the real solution instead of more violence? Unity. Encouraging dialogue, critical thinking, and cooperation across differences instead of letting extremists define what is us and them, highlighting that both extremes are dangerous. They help people see the bigger picture and resist the trap of division. And my videos are for everyone. But please, learn we need to fight for unity. Because only in unity we build our future. Sure, my channel is for everyone, and everyone of all walks of life. I'm not appealing to I don't want to find an audience that's one side of the political spectrum. I just want to make videos for everyone to enjoy. To have a good laugh. I made this video for a reason because I'm tired of the ideology of both sides of the political spectrum. It's rather sickening that we're being divided than united. Anyways, I gotta rest. This has been Viera-Ramos. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.